The Tesla Gigafactory, a place of groundbreaking technology where the future of transportation is being built. Rows of robotic arms move with perfect precision, assembling the sleek machines of tomorrow. The hum of machinery fills the air, a symphony of progress. But beneath the surface, not everything is as perfect as it seems. A shadowy figure steps through the entrance, his hood pulled over his head. No security detail, no flashing cameras. Just a man in worn sneakers and a faded jacket, blending in with the late-night shift workers. No one realizes who he is. Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla, is walking through his own factory in disguise. Not as a CEO, not as a billionaire, but as an observer. He watches as exhausted employees move through their tasks, their faces weary. He hears whispers, complaints about grueling hours, impossible deadlines, and a growing sense of burnout. Then, just a few steps away, he catches something that stops him in his tracks. A frustrated worker, his hands covered in grease, turns to his coworker and mutters, "If Musk was here, would he even care?" The words hit like a bullet. Elon pauses. The question lingers in the air. And then, for the first time, he speaks. What if he did? A silence spreads across the factory floor. Workers look up, confused. A few exchange glances. They have no idea that the man they're speaking to is the one who built this company. Do you think CEOs truly understand what their employees go through? If your boss secretly visited your workplace, what would they witness? Comment below with your honest thoughts. Have you ever felt unheard at work? A long silence spreads across the Tesla factory floor. Workers glance at one another, uncertain of how to respond. The stranger's voice, calm yet firm, seems out of place amid the whirring machines and clanking tools. The worker who had spoken earlier, a middle-aged man with oil-stained hands and tired eyes, squints at the hooded figure. What do you mean, what if he did? Who even are you? Elon doesn't answer right away. Instead, he looks around, taking in the scene, the dim lighting, the endless rows of robotic arms, the way some workers rub their wrists as if they've been straining for too long. He notices one worker sitting on an overturned crate, his head in his hands, his breathing shallow. Another stretches his back with a painful grimace, exhaustion clearly etched into his face. A young woman steps forward, wiping sweat from her forehead with the sleeve of her uniform. If Musk cared, he'd know this place is a pressure cooker. We get pushed to meet impossible targets. We barely get breaks. And if someone collapses from exhaustion, management just replaces them like they were never here. A murmur of agreement ripples through the group. Someone from the back calls out, "They don't even let us stop for water unless we're on a break. You miss quota, you're out. That's it." Another worker, a man in his late 50s with salt and pepper hair, shakes his head. "I've been here since the early days, back when we believed we were changing the world. But now..." He gestures around the factory, his voice heavy with disappointment. "Now we're just cogs in a machine that won't stop turning." Elon listens, absorbing every word. He doesn't interrupt. He doesn't defend himself. He just listens. Then something unexpected happens. A floor manager, noticing the growing crowd, pushes through. His polished boots contrast sharply with the workers' worn-down sneakers. His crisp uniform carries an air of authority. "What's going on here?" His tone is sharp, demanding. "Break's over. Get back to work." The workers hesitate. The young woman clenches her jaw, balling her fists at her sides. The older worker sighs, already turning back to his station. Just like that, the moment is slipping away. But then, Elon speaks again. "Why are you rushing them?" The manager turns, eyes narrowing. "Excuse me?" "I said, why are you rushing them? Are they behind schedule?" Elon steps forward, his voice calm but unwavering. The manager crosses his arms. "Factory efficiency is key. We have production goals. These people know what's expected of them. A younger worker mutters under his breath, "Yeah, expected just means overworked." Elon studies the manager for a moment, then, in a deliberate move, he pulls back his hood. Gasps ripple through the workers. The factory manager freezes. His face drains of color. The man he had just scolded, the nobody in the worn-out jacket, is Elon Musk. The air in the factory becomes heavy. No one dares to move. No one dares to speak. Elon tilts his head slightly, his eyes locked on the manager. "So tell me," he says, voice quiet but razor sharp, "what exactly is expected of my workers?" The manager stammers, caught completely off guard. He knows there's no way out of this. Elon turns back to the workers. "Tell me everything." The floodgates open. The impossible quotas, the exhausting shifts, the fear of speaking up, the injuries that go unreported. One worker, barely in his 20s, lifts his sleeve to reveal an arm covered in burns and bruises. "I got this last week. The machine jammed, and I had to clear it by hand. No one even filled out an accident report." Another worker, a father of two, shakes his head. "We're not even asking for luxury treatment, just respect. A system that treats us like people, not numbers." Elon listens, really listens. His fingers tighten into fists at his sides. What he thought was Tesla's greatest strength, its innovation, its efficiency, has come at an unseen cost. And the cost is his people. Do you think workplace conditions like this exist in reality? What's the worst treatment you've ever experienced at work? If you could tell your CEO one thing without consequences, what would it be? Comment below. I want to hear your stories. A tense silence grips the factory floor. The workers have spoken. Their truths are out in the open. The air feels electric, like something irreversible has just happened. Elon Musk stands in the middle of it all, his hands at his sides, his expression unreadable. He doesn't look angry, he doesn't look defensive, but he does look determined. The floor manager, now visibly sweating, clears his throat and takes a step forward. "Mr. Musk, Elon raises a hand, cutting him off. "Save it." His voice is calm but firm. "I want to hear from them, not from management, not from executives, from them." He turns to the workers. "Tell me more." The factory manager clenches his jaw. He's never seen Musk like this before. The workers glance at each other, hesitant at first. Then a young technician steps forward. "We're exhausted, sir." His voice is steady, but his fingers grip the wrench in his hand tightly. "We love Tesla. We believe in the vision. But the truth is, we're breaking under the pressure." Another worker, a mother in her 40s, nods. "We're afraid to even slow down. People are scared to call in sick because they might lose their job." A soft murmur of agreement spreads through the crowd. "The robots get more maintenance than we do." Breaks are a joke. 5 minutes? That's nothing when you've been standing for 8 hours straight. And if someone complains, management just replaces them. Elon listens, really listens. His sharp mind, the same mind that has designed rockets and electric cars, is now calculating something entirely different. How did I miss this? How did my vision for innovation become this? What is happening under my nose that I don't see? And then he asks a question that no one expects. If you were in charge, what would you change first? For a moment, the workers don't know how to respond. They had expected pushback, excuses, maybe even an attempt to dismiss their concerns. But instead, he's asking them for the solution. A veteran worker, someone who has been at Tesla since the early days, finally steps forward. His hands are calloused, his eyes tired, but still filled with something else, something like hope. "Give us a voice." His words are simple, but they carry the weight of years of frustration. "We don't need easier jobs. We don't need handouts. We just need a seat at the table, a way to be heard before it gets this bad." Elon exhales. He rubs his chin, nodding slowly. All right. The room stiffens. Did he just agree? Just like that? That's exactly what we're going to do. The factory manager's eyes widen. Sir, I don't think... Elon turns sharply. You don't think what? His voice, though measured, carries the full weight of his authority. That my own employees should have a say in how they work? That they shouldn't be able to report problems before they spiral out of control? The manager falls silent. Effective immediately, Elon continues. We're creating a new system, a direct employee feedback channel, anonymous if needed. No complaints will be ignored. No retaliation will be tolerated. If someone has a concern, it will be addressed. Period. A ripple of shock spreads through the workers. Is this real? Elon isn't finished. Second, break schedules will be reevaluated. No more 5-minute breathers. People need real breaks, real time to recover. A few workers nod in approval. This is actually happening. Third, safety checks. Every machine, every station. I want reports by the end of the week. Any equipment that poses a danger gets fixed. No exceptions. The younger technician, the one who had first spoken up, looks down at his burned arm. For the first time in years, he feels seen. Elon turns to the entire room. These changes are just the beginning, but they will happen, and if anyone in management has a problem with it, he looks directly at the factory manager. They're free to find employment elsewhere. The message is clear. The factory belongs to the workers now. For a moment, there is only silence. Then, applause, not the hesitant, polite kind. Real applause, the kind that comes from people who have been waiting for someone to actually listen. The kind that means something. The factory floor, once filled with frustration and fatigue, feels different now. Hope has entered the room. What's one change you think every workplace should implement immediately? Have you ever spoken up at work and actually been heard? Or were you ignored? Comment below. Let's have this conversation. Your voice matters. The Tesla Gigafactory is no longer the same. Where there was once an unspoken fear, now there is a hum of change in the air. It's not immediate, but something has shifted. The workers stand taller, speak louder, and for the first time in a long time, they feel like they matter. Elon Musk didn't just make promises, he's delivering. Day 1. The first changes begin. By the next morning, an internal email goes out to every Tesla factory worker. Subject, a new beginning. Effective immediately, we're implementing a direct employee feedback system. Your concerns will be addressed. No fear, no retaliation. Workers exchange glances. Some are skeptical. Could this really be happening? Later that day, small but visible changes begin. Break schedules are reworked. Workers finally get proper rest times. A new safety team is formed. Workers themselves help inspect machines and report hazards. The company creates a worker council. Elected employees meet with senior leadership every month to discuss factory conditions. A young engineer, reading the email, mutters under his breath, "Damn, he actually meant it." Week 1. The resistance from management. Not everyone is thrilled. Some factory managers push back. We'll lose efficiency. This will slow down production. It's impossible to change a system that's already working. At a private meeting, one senior manager speaks up, his voice dripping with skepticism. "Mr. Musk, Tesla is running at peak efficiency. If we start prioritizing employee comfort, we could fall behind schedule." Elon leans back in his chair. He folds his arms. Then, in a calm but cutting voice, he asks, "Tell me something. If we have the most efficient factory in the world, why are my workers unhappy?" The room falls silent. Efficiency means nothing if we're burning out the people who make this company great. A pause. Then Elon delivers the final blow. "If you think our success depends on overworking people instead of treating them with respect, maybe you're in the wrong job." A tense moment. Then one by one, the managers nod. Resistance ends. Change wins. Month 1. A factory reborn. Tesla workers are no longer just employees. They are part of something bigger. The Worker Council meets for the first time. Employees present their concerns directly to senior leadership. A young woman who once stayed silent stands up and speaks. For the first time, I feel like we're being heard. New safety measures are implemented. No more ignored injuries. Work-life balance is prioritized. Overtime hours become optional, not mandatory. Bonuses are restructured. Rewards now go not just to top managers, but to the floor workers who actually make Tesla run. One worker looks around and whispers, This is what a revolution feels like." 6 months later, the ultimate test. A shocking announcement. Tesla has set a new production record. Despite all the fears that worker-friendly policies would slow things down, the company has actually become more efficient than ever. Why? Because when workers feel respected, they work harder. They care more. They put their best into their work. A factory that once ran on fear and exhaustion now runs on pride and purpose. And the world takes notice. News headlines flood in. Elon Musk's radical experiment, putting people before profits. Tesla's bold new approach, and why other companies are watching closely. What happens when a billionaire actually listens? The impact is undeniable. Other CEOs start paying attention. Google executives visit the Tesla factory. Amazon sends an internal report to Jeff Bezos. Even traditional automakers like Ford and GM begin reconsidering their labor policies. Tesla has done something no one expected. It hasn't just changed one factory. It has started a movement. Do you believe this could happen in real life? Should more companies listen to their workers like this? If you were CEO for a day, what would you change first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk. The Tesla Gigafactory no longer feels like a machine grinding people into exhaustion. It feels alive. It breathes with its workers. Employees who once dreaded their shifts now walk in with a new sense of purpose. They aren't just building cars anymore. They are building a future. 1 year later, the unexpected visitor. The air hums with electricity and movement. Rows of workers, not just exhausted employees, but people who believe in what they're doing, move with purpose. Elon Musk walks through the factory again, but this time, he's not in disguise. He's not walking in secret. He's not trying to uncover hidden truths. This time, he is welcomed. Workers nod in recognition as he passes. Some smile. One older worker, the same man who had called out Tesla's work conditions months ago, steps forward. His hands, once calloused and tired, are still rough, but his posture is different now, stronger, more confident. And then, he does something nobody expects. He extends his hand. Elon pauses, looks at the man, then slowly shakes his hand. A simple gesture, but it means everything. The factory floor, once filled with resentment and exhaustion, is now filled with something else. Respect, dignity, a feeling of ownership. The man speaks, his voice firm but calm. "I didn't trust you when you first came here, Musk. Thought you were just another billionaire who didn't give a damn." He glances around, looking at the workers moving confidently through their tasks, then back at Elon. "But I was wrong." A quiet moment, then a younger worker chimes in. "Yeah, boss, you actually listened." The room erupts in applause. Elon, known for his sharp wit and fast answers, doesn't speak immediately. Instead, he nods. Because for the first time in a long time, it isn't about him, it's about them. The final reflection. Later that night, Elon Musk stands at the edge of the factory. The building glows in the distance. He can hear the faint laughter of workers leaving their shift, not drained, not broken, but proud. He exhales, his mind replaying everything that has happened. The anger, the skepticism, the hard conversations. But also, the change, the power of listening, the proof that treating people right doesn't slow a company down. It makes it unstoppable. He takes one last look at the factory before stepping into his car. As he does, a young apprentice, maybe just 19 or 20 years old, rushes up holding something in his hands. "Mr. Musk, wait!" Elon turns. The kid is grinning ear to ear. He hands Elon a small folded note. Elon raises an eyebrow but takes it. The kid steps back, giving a thumbs up before running back inside. Elon opens the note. It's handwritten, a little messy, but the words? The words hit him like a rocket to the chest. "Thank you for giving us a voice. Because of you, I believe in my future again." Elon Musk, the man who dreams of Mars, the man who builds rockets, the man who pushes boundaries. That night, he just stands there, holding that note, and he smiles. Because he knows, this question mark, this is bigger than any car, bigger than any rocket, bigger than any business deal. This is about people. And that's what will change the world. What did this story make you feel? Do you think real change like this is possible? If you were a CEO for just one day, what would you do first? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. And remember, the best companies aren't just built on products, they're built on people. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in a better future. Let's make it happen. Together.